Okay, I'm going to attempt to include ImGui in one of my OpenGL projects. Now, what have I done? Well, the first thing I did is I actually have downloaded the ImGui master from the GitHub site for it. Okay, so I went to GitHub coordinate ImGui and said download zip, and this is the whole main. This is actually version. It's the 1.80. It's not 1.79. It's 1.80. It is the work in progress. Just to try to see, if the main. What I would really recommend normally is say, well, maybe you should get 1.79. And that's the version I was using, but some students have asked about 1.80. So let's give it a try to see at least if it works. All right, so I downloaded that. And I put it in my template directory. Now, so what I've created is I have a openGL template that I use when I am creating OpenGL projects. Okay, so normally it creates an ImGui master, directory here. I renamed it ImGui. So inside of my template here, I have ImGui, and along with this, I'm going to have an include directory. Now, this didn't create this include directory, but this is where I normally have my include files that are OpenGL and to do with my project here. So you'll notice I have an ImGui folder in there, and these imgui.h, imconfig.h, and my specific, I'm using glfw and openGL 4, so that's the reason I have these two files, so I put those in here as well. And they come from, if you look at the OpenGL, the ImGui in backends, that's where it will have the, potentially the ones you want to work with, and we're working with like I said, OpenGL 3 or 4. This is one 3 or 4 you can use this one with. And I am using this one, glfw.h as well. And there's a corresponding C++ file for each of those. All right. So I'm going to drag those two files, the implement glfw.cpp. I put that in the base here as well, OpenGL ImGui. So that's right there. And there's also the OpenGL3.cpp. I put these two files in here. I don't think it really matters that they're in there, to tell you the truth, because they are going to be in the include path that we just showed you a second ago. But the other files that are in here are the ImGui widgets, the actual imgui.cpp, imgui-draw.cpp, demo, in case you want to try that. So they're all there. All right, so those are the main files. So OpenGL, I have an ImGui folder in here, which is really for, where I want to reference these C++ files. Those are the main ones. And over in my template in include, that's really where it's going to be pulling these imgui.h and all the .h, the header files, right? Include directory there. So that means inside of my Visual Studio project, and I haven't really decided. Let's see, I'm going to go with this exercise 5, I guess. Excuse me, 5.1. And if I run this, let's see. I'll show you what it looks like at the moment. And my apologies, it opens it on another screen, and I'll just bring it over here. There it is. It draws a pyramid that is textured. Obviously, it's using OpenGL. It's not doing anything all that cool. So let's get an ImGui frame on there somehow. All right. Now, so where is it now? Exercise 5.1. There it is. So let's include some other files here. Now, for source files, we're going to include, I'm going to go ahead and add existing items, and I'm going to find those files which are on my C drive. They're in the OpenGL template. They are in ImGui. Let's see. Who decided to make it look this way here? Well, this one, oh no, not template, draw we need, CPP we need, GLFW we need, Open3LG we need, and widgets, and we don't need demo. We could have demo if we wanted, but we're not going to take demo here. Let's see, CPP, And that should do it. Okay, add those. So we'll now see that we have those in our project. Now, if we just compiled now, not a heck of a lot would happen. Let's go ahead, build, rebuild, see if we get any errors, just in case. And this will give us a clue as to whether or not we've got the include paths set up correctly, right? So this is in compiling all these, at least it can compile the OpenGL 3 and all these correctly, which is a good sign. Now, let's go over here, exercise 5.1, properties, and we'll take a look to see if I've already, let's see, VC++ directories, and you'll notice we have our include path, and we do have OpenGL template /include, which has my include directories. So I'm a little slightly surprised that it's finding those for everything, but maybe, well, I know why. The cool thing is for the OpenGL, or the ImGui files right now, because there is a version, and this is potentially maybe a little bit weird. Maybe this is something we should be careful of, because there are two versions. There's this version and these files here, these H files. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually get rid of these, all of the H files, the header files in there. Why? Because the files, if they're right alongside these, demo, draw, and so on, these files may very well include these versions rather than the ones up here in my include. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete those so that there's only, let's see, delete that one, and I'm going to delete that one. And this is to make sure that we're referring to the same ones, right? We want to be referring to the ones that are in here. Come on. No preview available? Come on, what's going on here? Well, that's odd. Something weird is going on with that. Let's hope that's not an issue, though. So give it a whirl. Let's see what's going on in the world. Well, you notice weird. It's still got them there. ImGui, include ImGui. Those are the ones we want. Now let's come back over here and say rebuild again. So now it shouldn't be able to find those. So we'll say here, and we're going to say rebuild. Let's see if it complains. Ah, good. It complained. Good, right? Sort of good. cannot open file imgui.h. Right. Bang. We don't want it to be able to do that. We want it to barf. So now let's fix that. We can go and say exercise 5 properties, and in our include files we're going to say all platforms and all configurations, and we're going to say add this include /imgui. Okay. And if we set apply, right? So now we're explicitly including the include ImGui directory there. Now, if these files had been smart and actually had already referenced with this relative path, it would have just worked, but some of them must be referring to them directly. So hopefully, let's see now. Rebuild. And, almost. Let's see now. What did we have? We still have a problem. Variable always initialize a member type. So let's see the error down here. Cannot open include file imstb true type.h, no such file or directory. That's interesting. Where is all this coming from? All right, so we're able to include imgui.h at the moment, which is a good sign. These might just be nonsense. We're not going to worry about those too much. But this, obviously, this error down here cannot include file imstb truetype.h. in ImGui draw. That's C++. ImStb, true type. I wonder where that's originating here. ImStb text edit. Oh, maybe I have missed a file here. Ooh, that's a problem. So let's go back and take a look. Maybe I'm going to open, what do I have, my trash can somewhere, hopefully, my recycle bin. Maybe I deleted one file I shouldn't have. True type, yep. Okay, let's make sure. Whoops. You get carried away there, Eric. Not too great. TrueType.h. We're going to restore that one. And now, hopefully, is that there? Well, that should be, oh, that's the old version. I'm going to put that in ImGui there. Let's see. So make sure you don't delete files you might need. All right, run it again. Much better. All right, so at least everything compiled appropriately now, right? So that was good. And we'll do a recompile all just in case. So let's, yeah, in case you're wondering, there it is over from the other screen. That's good. All right, and let's rebuild it. I always like to just make sure. And boom, there, that's looking good. All right, so we now have the files included. We have the paths set. That's a good thing, but we don't have any ImGui actually showing up yet. All right, so, and here's where you can sort of follow along, and often, let's see, I'm not quite sure which of these main, too many things open up here. Let's close out some files. I'm going to grab a sample here. Let's see, don't want that one. All right, look at all these files. Okay, gone. Now, 5.1, source files. We're going to open up main. That's going to be a good place to put it, right? And I have a program that I already did this once in. So just for sake of argument, let's follow along because I don't want to necessarily reinvent everything. So we'll open up its main file there as well. All right, so let's set tab. Let's see, wait, how can I split this tab? Window split. Not that version. Let's see, let's do that. Can I say window? I always forget how to do this. Keep tab open, pin tab, set tab layout. All right, well, so we have plain red cube, main, and we also want to have exercise 5.1 main. There's one, there's the other. All right, let's just go for it. All right, so we'll notice in 4.1 we've already said let's include the ImGui stuff. Okay, now I could leave it this way, or you'll notice in this version, in the version that I'm just putting there, I'm accessing the relative path here. So since I already have, I have include in my include path, but if I also say ImGui, it's going to get me all the way. So this should be, since I explicitly put that ImGui path in there, this should work. So let's say compile and doing this step by step. Boom, everything still works. We still compile. I get a little triangle, a little pyramid on the other screen. So everything's so far so good. Now, so we've got the include files in here, and it would have probably worked this other way as well, but we're not going to worry about that. Now, let's scroll down. Where does all the good stuff happen? Where does the ImGui stuff really happen? So in main here, normally this is where we're going to set up ImGui. And the first thing we do is we do ImGui check version. So let's grab this whole chunk here. This is the setup for ImGui. And we do it between the swap interval and initting the window. So let's copy that. We'll talk about each one of those things over in here. All right. So in main, we have right in here. Boom, we're going to put that. Now, what happens in here? We are checking the version. We are creating the ImGui context. We're setting up I/O, I guess, here. Yep. We are initializing it to say, yes, we are using glfw, init for openGL. We want to use that. We are, and this is the version that I happen to be set up for, 1.3.0. So it's sort of a minimum version here. That's what I used. Let's leave that. That was just left over for some junk there. So this is the minimum version I'm using. You may be able to use, I think the default is 1.5.0. We can try that in a second. And then I set up the style, and we're going to do colors dark here. All right, so this is the setup. This is the basic setup for ImGui. Now, even if I press that, it's going to compile it. Hopefully everyone succeeds. Yep, boom, still get, boop, there it is. So I haven't broken anything yet. I've done the setup. I have not actually called a window. So how do I call a window? Now, here's where it gets fun. So it's immediate mode, ImGui. That's the main purpose. It's ImGui. So everything has to be done through each frame flip. Okay. So feed inputs to dear ImGui, start new frame. So this is where the joy of it all happens. All right. So grab that, come over to here. Inside of our main, now let's look, where did we put it here? We did it after display, right? Because we don't want to draw, maybe in display we wipe the frame buffer, right? We probably do that. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to try ImGui and then wipe the frame buffer, right? So we're going to do it after. We're going to have this appear on top of our other stuff, right? That's the idea, is that we'll be doing it on top of other stuff. Now, so this is the startup. This is the new frame, right? So this is, we're telling openGL, we're telling glfw, we're telling, okay, ImGui, now go for it. Right, now this is going to be the setup in between, right? We're going to have a begin. So let's get the minimum version here. So we need to have an ImGui begin, and there's going to be an ImGui end, right? So let's make sure we have those two. So we're going to say, copy that, ImGui, boom, begin, and we'll call this hello ImGui, and we're going to have an ImGui, whoops, end, right? So if we begin, we have an end. Let's see if we broke anything. Nothing. Oh, well, no, that's not true. We got one rendered frame, but we have an abort. We have a debug error. Abort has been called, right? And what's the error? It has said, look at this. Version 1.a, whip assertion failed. Frame count, gframe, so, okay, forgot to call render, right? Always check your output window. Always check your output console, all right? So assertion failed, gframe count, and so on. Forgot to call render or end frame at the end of the previous frame? Talk about a great clue. Okay, so we know we didn't call render or end frame, right? We left that part out. We just called begin and end, and we never rendered anything here. All right, so let's see where we go next. Look at that. ImGui render. So we want to render the ImGui onto the screen, and then we're going to draw the data, Copy. Let's put that in there. Boom. Save. And run. Let's see. Did I click that again? Make sure. Compiling, everything ran. And whoop, look at that. Now we have an ImGui window. Congratulations. That was not difficult. All right. Wonderful. Interactive. Does stuff. Well, it doesn't do much of anything. It just opens and closes. So just the default ImGui stuff at the moment. All right. So let's now put some stuff in there. So that's the main shell of it. Okay. So we need to create a window, create the context for it, and then we're going to render it. Right. We set up the render and render draw data is what's going on here, and then get draw data. So where the other stuff is going to happen is ImGui stuff here. There it is. That's where we want it to happen. This is where we want it to happen. It's going to happen every frame, every time in a loop, because it is immediate mode. That's the point of immediate mode. It happens over and over and over again. It's very immediate. All right. So let's put some things in there. So in our other version, we said, all right, let's put some text. And I'm not going to attach these to anything for now. I'm going to leave that up to you, right? So we had the begin. I'm going to have a translation, a position, a rotation. Okay, we'll set up those things. Here's where I actually copied them to somewhere useful. Actually do something with it. So let's just put it in here as sort of, like I said, the placeholder. All right, so we've got just local vector3 or a array of 3 floats. And that's our translation, right? And we're saying it's a slider with 3 floats, or 3 sliders there, range of -2 to 2, and we're calling it position. And then the next one here is we have a static float array with 3 numbers for rotation. Same thing, but except now the range is between -5 and 5 radians for that, right? So we have 1 for the translation, 1 for rotation. And we'll go ahead and build that. Voila. Okay. Obviously, they don't do anything just yet because they're not attached to anything just yet. And that is the part that I am going to leave for you to discover and to figure out, how to do it. Because I don't want to do everything in this tutorial. That's going to give away the homework. All right, so if I wanted to add, we'll do one more thing. I'll say, all right, I want to add this color picker. All right. And notice here, I'm getting a little bit fancier here. And I could have gotten fancier with the other one. Now, this I'm going to hand directly. Here's a hint. Maybe I'll give you a little hint of the homework here. This one, if I just include this line here, it's going to fail. You see, okay, GLM value pointer my color. Doesn't like that. Why? Because my color is not defined here, right? We're using GLM, which is the math library for openGL, right? And this is supposed to be getting a pointer to this, whatever it is, okay? So let's define that. Let's look where it's defined up here. If we look for my color, I think it's just a global here. Here it is. So that is declared as a vector4 my color. GLM vec4 my color. We'll go ahead and put this. Well, I'm just going to put it here as a static. All right. I'll let you work that out. So now we'll get the results there. We'll hit, I would say play. Sort of, I'm used to working inside of Unity. So there we are. Now we have a color picker. What do we do with the color? That's up to you. All right. So congratulations. ImGui 1.8, the work in progress version, using it in our simple example here. The key things are, of course, grab the whole version, decide where you want to keep the C++ files, decide where you want to put the header files, make sure that Visual Studio knows where those are. So I have included these. You'll notice the cool thing about Visual Studio Solutions, this is still, this file, if I click on imgui.cpp, it is referencing the one in my template directory. Right? So I don't have multiple versions of that all over the place. It's referencing this from that master version that's in my template directory. And for the header files, it is actually getting them all potentially from, again, in here, my include directories includes the direct version. So if I could reference them as imgui / whatever, or just by their names, right? This I did to accommodate some of the existing conventions in there. So I said c:\openGL template / include imgui, and that points me directly at that directory. And if I wanted to reference it relatively, I could do that. I don't want to change any imgui code, so I'm going to just do it that way. Right. There you have it. There, it works. Give it a try. Let me know if that helps. Take care.